Hey, okay, welcome to your mobility for your hips. Okay, so we're going to go through some exercises for your hip mobility all the way around here, which is really fundamental for our bulletproofness and able to gain into a little bit of a range of motion that we can start to work some strength through that range of motion as well. So we're going to start off with the FABER test. So this is just to enable us to measure our hip flexibility in a quick and easy way that is measurable, and then we can repeat later on to make sure that the exercises we're doing are making a difference. So what you need is your tape measure. Okay, so your tape measure again for me, and we're going to lie down on your back for this one. Here, what you're going to do is you're going to place the top of the ankle bone onto the soft part of your knee, just above the kneecap, the patella. Okay, once it's down into that position, we're going to lay nice and flat, and we're just going to relax. Okay, I don't want you to force that knee down by squeezing it down to the ground, because you'll just lift that hip up. We're just going to be in a relaxed state, and wherever that hip lies, I want you to measure the distance. Okay, so you're going to get into that position and you're going to measure the distance down to the ground. That is on that side. Okay, then you're going to relax and we're going to swap over sides. Okay, so that ankle bone sits into the top of the kneecap, and then you're just going to sit into this relaxed position, give it a couple of seconds just to settle, and then you're going to measure the distance that knee is away from the ground from left to right, and see if there is a difference from left to right there as well, because there might be. So that's going to be your test for that internal external rotation of the hips with that FABER test to begin with. So it's great just to make a note of that and make a test, see which side is harder or easier, and see and just feel the difference in the tightness as well as the measurement, which is also important. Then we're going to get on to the exercises, and we're going to go for these hip rotations or hip swivels to begin with. So we're going to stay in a seated position here, and what we're going to do is we're going to have the hands down by the side behind us, okay, so that we can keep our back up nice and upright. We're going to have the legs in a nice neutral 90-90 sort of position, or a loose Z sit position here. Okay, once you're in that position, we're going to drive the knees across to the other side, placing the knees down on the ground before coming over and placing the knees down on the other side. Okay, and what we're going to try and do here is lift through the hips as much as you possibly can and place the knees down. So don't rush this movement, go nice and slowly, and it's really good to loosen and strengthen those hips through that range of motion. Try not to push too much pressure down through the arms, because what I want you to do eventually is do this action without having the hands down on the ground at all. Okay, and this means that you have to lift all the way through those hips every single rotation. Okay, and you're going to do about 12 to 15 repetitions to each side. Okay, so just swapping from left to right in that nice format. Start off with the hands behind you, and then move to the point where you've got the hands off the ground, and this is really good for rotation and internal rotation for the hips, gaining that range of motion, but also gaining that little bit of strength and control through that range of motion, which is really important. Next one, we're going to be having a look a little bit more up into the hip flexor stretch here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go down into a nice lunge position. One hand is going to be down flat on the floor, and the other hand is just going to be on the thigh here. And what you're going to do is you're going to edge that knee back until you start to feel the stretch down through the top into the quad maybe, or up into the hip flexor. Okay, you're going to stay in a nice low position. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to extend that back knee into a straight position and then drop it back down. So we're just squeezing that quad, tightening that quad to straighten that leg, feeling the stretch increase through that hip flexor, gaining a little bit of strength and mobility through this area now. Okay, nice deep breath. Keep those hips down nice and low. I don't want you to lift the hips up at the same time. You've got to keep those hips down nice and low. And then you're going to swap sides, so you're going to make sure that we're down into that position. One hand is on the thigh, one hand is flat on the floor. You're going to edge that knee back until you feel that stretch, and then we're going to extend that leg up into that position, really squeezing the quad nice and tight into there. Okay, Again, around about 10-12 repetitions on each side will really start to make those hips feel nice and loose. Next exercise is we're going to be moving into the glute stretch. Okay, so here we're going to be in an upright seated position, and we're going to place one knee across the body. Once it's there, we're going to start to hug that knee across. Now you're trying to aim not to bring the knee into the chest, but across to the opposite armpit whilst keeping the back up nice and straight. If you slouch out of this stretch, then it just makes it easy. So bring yourself all the way up, and it really starts to increase it, and we should feel a nice stretch across the top here. Okay, and you're just going to hold that there for a few seconds. Okay, nice deep breaths. Just relax. Okay, enjoy that stretch. Then what you're going to do is you're going to move the back knee into that bend position, and we're going to just allow that stretch to increase. Now, to increase this stretch even more, we can start to lean the body to the side whilst we're down in that position there, and this is a great way of just starting to loosen up across the top there. Okay, so I'll show you onto the other side. You're going to start off with the knees, legs out nice and straight. We're going to move the leg out to the side. We're going to grab hold, and we're going to hold the back up nice and straight as you're stretching the knee into the opposite armpit, feeling that stretch. Okay, now to increase, we just bend the leg, okay, into that position, and then hug the knee again, so we've got a nice straight position there. Okay, once you're into there, we're going to start to lean to that side, increasing the stretch even more. Okay, so you're just trying to go nice and steadily through that, so you could do 30 seconds of each. Okay, just to start to increase that stretch. Start off with the legs out in front of you, bend the leg in for 30 seconds, and then the last 30 seconds just lean out to the side, so we've got a really good deep glute stretch into there. So the next one, we're going to be starting to stretch the inner thighs here. Okay, so the groin muscles going into the adductors. Here what we're going to do is going to be a frog mobility. Okay, so we're going to have the knees nice and far apart, okay, until you start feeling the stretch. To increase the stretch, we can have the feet wider than the knees. Okay, to decrease the stretch, we can have the feet closer than the knees. So start off somewhere in the middle in the parallel position, and then you're going to have your hands there, and what you're going to do is you're going to sit back into it, and then you're going to slide forwards. So again, we're just going through that range of motion with this groin one. So we're just dropping back into that stretch and then coming forward, dropping back into that stretch and then coming forward here. Okay, nice deep breaths, just relax through that one. It can be quite a powerful stretch to begin with. Like I say, to increase that stretch a little bit more, then just have the knees wider and the feet wider than the knees, and then that will increase it. To decrease it slightly, bring the feet in a little bit and the knees in a little bit, but try and sit all the way back as best you possibly can on that, so we can get yourself set up so you're really starting to sit back into that stretch, feeling those groins stretch out as much as you possibly can. Okay, and then we're going to finally just finish off with the deep lunge rotations. So here we're going to move back up into a press up position, but this time bringing the foot right onto the outside of the hand here. Okay, we're going to bend the elbow nearest the foot, we're going to keep the back leg nice and straight, and then we're going to drop the elbow down towards the ground and then lift up nice and high. Okay, so we're just going in and out of this particular stretch here. Now, you might not be able to get the elbow all the way down to the ground, that's fine, just as far as your body will take it for the moment, and then you can rotate back up and out of it. And again, you do about 12 repetitions on one side, and then we can swap over, place the foot down there. We're going to try and keep that back leg as straight as possible all the way through this range of motion. You bend the knee, we drive the knee down towards the ground, and then we open up towards the sky ceiling as we lift up and twist through that range of motion like so. Okay, right, enjoy those mobility exercises for the hips. It's really good to delve down into there and get into a nice big deep range of motion. Okay, we'll speak soon. Give me a shout if you're struggling with any of those exercises. Take care.